A hearing impaired deaf person helping interpreter job guide. Chapter 1. Helping hearing impaired people. Free articles on deafness and hearing loss at verywellhealth.com/hearing-loss-and-deafness-40147110. Career and health articles. Deaf educator/deaf intervention specialist. oraldeaf.org/materials/index.html, for parents, students building a career in deaf education. canisius.edu/deaf_education coe.usu.edu/comd/c student/requirements_ild-deaf.htm. astah.org/careers.htm. colorado.edu/cds. csun.edu/sped-dhh. deafconnection.org. educ.kent.edu/deft. isu.edu/cscd/deaf_ed.shtml. nasnd.org, the National Association of School Nurses for the Deaf. teachingdepartment.kent.edu/sped/deaf.htm. usao.edu/deft, University of Science and Arts, Deaf Education Program, get a degree in deaf education to work with deaf people. usm.edu/shs/deaf.htm. Jobs helping deaf people. CADE.org, Council of the American Instructors of the Deaf. Deaf.net, Deaf Education. DILA.org, Deaf Independent Living Association. deflinks.com/professional/careers.html, careers working with the deaf community. bestfuture.com, court reporting and broadcast captioning. job-applicatons.com. rid.org/interpreting/overview, interpreter for the deaf. pinsdc.com, partners in sign. rid.org, Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. rid.org, Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. def.net/jobs, deaf ed. Employment opportunities, requires registration. vcaa.com/defnews/jobs, defjobnet. deftech.org, deftech, jobs for deaf people and those who serve them. diversityalliedhealth.com, diversity, allied health careers. hiredaf.com, hire deaf. idph.state.il.us/local/alpha.htm, Illinois Health Departments. ohsoez.com/jobs.htm, jobs in the deaf community. asha.org, vacancies at the ASHA National Office. Hearing impaired/deaf education. Deaf children go from grade school to college. They can either learn sign language and/lip reading and speaking. Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. is a college for deaf people. oraldeaf.org, listings for schools around the country. deaf.net, Council on Education of the Deaf. advocatesdeaf.org, Cincinnati, O., Advocates for Deaf Education. agbell.org, Alexander Graham Bell Association for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. apple.com/education/profiles/Texas, Texas School for the Deaf. cid.edu, Auditory Oral Education for Hearing Impaired Children in St. Louis, Missouri. cid.wstl.edu, Auditory Oral Education for Hearing Impaired Children in St. Louis, Missouri. colorado.edu/cds/msd, Magnet School of the Deaf. The Magnet School of the Deaf provides deaf children and education. c-s-d.org/services, services to the deaf and hard of hearing communities, including adult education. deafchildren.org, American Society for Deaf Children. deafconnection.org. deafdc.com. def.net. deaf-education.org.uk, a national charity supporting deaf children, their families, and practitioners who wish to follow an auditory oral route. deafeducation4parents.com. deaflibrary.org. deflinks.com/deft/ed.html educ.kent.edu/deft, def-education deaf-reach.org, the National Healthcare Foundation for the Deaf deafred.com ed.gov/about/offices/lists/ocr/docs/hq9806.html, deaf students education services en.wikipedia.org/wiki/kelston_deaf_education_center, Archibald Road, Kelston, Auckland, New Zealand, a residential special school for deaf children. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/mooc_center_for_deaf_education, Orala is a method. fsdb.k12.fl.us/rmc/technotes/070824.html, North Carolina School for the Deaf, Morganton, NC. Gallaudet.edu, College for Deaf People. Gallaudet.edu/infotogo/schools-usa.html, schools for the deaf in the USA. gradschools.com/listings/edu_def_menu.html. gradschools.com/programs/deaf_education.html. jdesta.oxfordjournals.org, Journal of Deaf Studies and Deaf Education. knoxcotn.org/schools/tsd, Tennessee School for the Deaf. lexenique.org, the Lexington School for the Deaf, New York City. msd-foundation.org, Maryland School for the Deaf. nad.org. nad.org, National Association of the Deaf. ncd.gov, National Council on Disability. ndepnow.org, National Deaf Education Project. oraldeaf.org/schools. rit.edu/tilde-comets/teaching-mfal.htm. scsdb.k12.sc.us, South Carolina School for the Deaf and the Blind. shhh.org, Self-Help for Hard of Hearing People. stjosephinstitute.org, St. Joseph Institute for the Deaf, teaches deaf children to talk. tea.state.tx.us/deaf, Texas Deaf Services. usdb.org/deaf, the Utah Schools for the Deaf. vanach.school.nz, Van Ash Deaf Education Center, New Zealand. wfdeaf.org, World Federation of the Deaf. zak.co.il/deaf-info. Gallaudet University. 800 Florida Avenue, NE. Washington, D.C. 20002. 202-651-5114. Fax, 202-651-5744. gallaudet.edu. School for Deaf and the Hard of Hearing. John Tracy Clinic. 806 West Adams Boulevard, La California 90007. 800-522-4582. School to help parents of deaf children. National Technical Institute for the Deaf. Rochester Institute of Technology. LBJ Building. 52 Long Memorial Drive, Rochester, New York 14623-5604. 716-475-6906, voice/TTY. rit.edu/418www/new/ntid.html. Chapter 2. A Sign Language Job Guide. Sign Language Interpreting/Transliterating Services for Deaf and Hard of Hearing Persons. Sign language interpreters are needed to accompany deaf students to mainstream classes, often in college, and to give signs while a speaker is doing a lecture or seminar. rid.org, Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf. deflinks.com, Educational Interpreter Job Description. humanresources.utoledo.edu/jobs/job descriptions/574_sign language interpreter.asp. sign-language-site-interpreter-job-sign security.news/sign-language/sign-language-interpreter-job-description.htm mykhdhh.org/interpreters/sign-language interpreter alldeaf.com, sign interpreter sign-language-interpreter-job-description.htm lcc.edu/communication/sign_lang/careers/sign-language interpreter mccneb.edu/programs/sign-career-facts.asp, sign-language nationjob.com/job/fgcu47, sign-language interpreter job, Fort Myers, FL, Florida Gulf Coast University cidmac.wstl.edu, Central Institute for the Deaf deafworldweb.org deafresources.com deaf-magazine.org goludet.edu/nicad/357.html gbda.com/asl/links, sign-language mambo.ucsc.edu/psl/lipar.html, lip reading mastertech-home.com/asl-dict.sbml, sign language rid.org/idp2.html Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf, Inc. 8630 Fenton St. Number 324. Silver Spring, Maryland 20910. 301-608-0050. Fax 301-608-0508. Special Needs Project 1482 East Valley Road. Number A121. Santa Barbara, California 93108. 805-565-1914. Teaches Sign Language. Sign Language/Deaf Interpreter Job Websites. Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf's website. rid.org, for a database of post-secondary programs that offer interpreter education. rid.org/listings/browse-categories/for/job-listings. listeningandSpokenLanguage.org/jobs. Alexander Graham Bell Association for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. 3417 Volta Place, NW. Washington, D.C. 20007-2737. 202-337-5220. info@agbell.org. listeningandSpokenLanguage.org. American Speech Language Hearing Association. 2200 Research Boulevard, Rockville, Maryland 20850-3289. 800-638-8255. asha.org. Discover Interpreting. info@discoverinterpreting.com. discoverinterpreting.com. Registry of Interpreters for the Deaf, RID. 333 Commerce Street, Alexandria, Virginia 22314-2801. 703-838-0030. Write an info@rid.org. rid.org. Chapter 3. A Sign Language Guide. Sign language in general. Sign language is a formal language characterized by gestures of the hands, face, and body that are used to communicate. It was developed for people with hearing problems to communicate with one another. There are several sign language systems used. American Sign Language/ASL. Signed English. Seeing Essential English/C. Signing Exact English/C2. Lip reading is a method of understanding spoken language by reading the lips and mouths of people when they speak. It requires a reasonable amount of training to learn, and even then, there is always uncertainty that you are correct because many words don't require that much lip inflection that you can figure out the words being said from their movement alone. Lip reading is often used along with sign language. People close to the lip reader such as family or friends often exaggerate their lip movements to help him or her read their lips. Books about sign language are at number 419 or HV2474 at the library. commtechlab.msu.edu/sites/ASL RID.org, National Association of Sign Language Interpreters in the U.S. angelfire.com/pa3/ecarpenter/ASL phrasebook.htm, Medical American Sign Language Phrasebook. boker.com/lrg/home/entries/t.j_publishers_inspook_publishers.html. commtechlab.msu.edu/sites/ASL web/index.html. csuzem.edu/pub/winworld/educate/signing.zip. dsurvey.stu.umn.edu/altform, sign language and braille. lifeprint.com/ASL101. handspeak.com. commtechlab.msu.edu/sites/ASL web/browser.htm. aslinfo.com. gbda.com/ASL/links. signlanguagenetwork.com. handspeak.com. hoh.org/masterstech/ASLdict.sbml. mastertech-home/ASLdict.sbml. newswise.com/articles/1999/1/signlang.osu. sign2me.com. sign-language-dictionary.info. Special Needs Project. 1482 East Valley Road. Number A121. Santa Barbara, California 93108. 805-565-1914. Teaches Sign Language. Learn Sign Language Canada. British Columbia. Diploma in Sign Language Interpretation. Douglas College. 700 Royal Avenue. POG 2503. New Westminster, BC V3L5B2. 604-527-5478. douglas.bc.ca. Alberta. University of Alberta. Continuing Education Courses. American Sign Language. 780-853-8785. 780-853-8627. 780-416-8844. uofaweb.ualberta.ca/ssds/asl.cfm. Manitoba. Bachelor of Arts in ASL English Interpretation. Joint 3-year degree program offered by RRC and U of M. Red River College. 2055 Notre Dame Avenue. Room D104. Winnipeg, Manitoba R3H0J9. 204-632-2381. rrc.mb.ca. University of Manitoba. Department of Linguistics. 514 Fletcher Argue Building. University of Winnipeg. Winnipeg, Manitoba R3T2N2. 204-632-2381. umanitoba.ca. Ontario. Diploma in ASL/English Interpretation. St. Clair College. 2000 Talbot Road West. Windsor, Ontario N9A6S3. 519-972-2727. stclaircollege.ca/program/postcc. Diploma in ASL/English Interpretation. George Brown College. POG 1015, Station B. Toronto, Ontario M5T2T9. 416-415-2577, TTY. 800-265-2 2002 EXT 2333. gbrownc.on.ca. Nova Scotia. Diploma in ASL/English Interpretation. Nova Scotia Community College. 1825 Bell Road. Halifax, NSB 3H2Z4. 902-491-4624. 902-491-4625, TTY. A list of sign language websites at blog.feedspot.com/sign_language_blogs. 9east.net/blog. alliancebizsolutions.com/category/all/asl. asl-blog.williamwoods.edu. aslblog.goreact.com. asldiscoveries.tumblr.com. aslmastertutor.com/my-blog. aslrochelle.com/blog. aslteachingresources.com/category/blog. blog.asldefined.com. blog.feedspot.com/asl_YouTube_channels. blog.signly.co. blogs.ucl.ac.uk/library-rnid/category/sign-language. chelseasbusyhands.com/blog. doorinternational.org. hearmyhandsasl.blogspot.com. interpretinghawaii.com/blog. martj@emulder.be/blog. networkinterpretingservice.com/blog. partnersinterpreting.com/blog. rosesignlanguage.com/blog. signingsavvy.com. signlanguageecho.com/blog. signlanguageunique.com/blog-3. streetleverage.com. youtube.com/channel/uset0zgnCFLI1369C3ZWFSFA/videos. youtube.com/user/thehandspeak/videos. youtube.com/channel/UCSUBABMLPGJ95W3MW Hertz-30G/videos. youtube.com/user/IRS-videos ASL/videos. youtube.com/channel/UC9MGNRFXNAFLG_KQWBWQSIG/videos. youtube.com/user/BillVickers/videos. youtube.com/user/ATINIDINI/videos. A list of American Sign Language websites at feedspot.com/news/ASL. ASL Defined. blog.asldefined.com. ASL Anissa. youtube.com. Meredith ASL. youtube.com. Creative ASL Teaching. creativeaslteaching.com. IRS Videos ASL. youtube.com.